Well, for his analysis of the Anambra poll and its implications, let's cross now to the capital, Awka, and speak to Senator Ben Obi, who represented one of Anambra's senatorial districts at the National Assembly and who was the vice presidential running mate to Atiku Abubakar in 2007. Senator Obi, thank you very much indeed for joining us. How much would you say is at stake in this governorship election in Anambra State?
Well, thank you very much, Charles. Glad to be out here with you. And good afternoon to the good people of Anambra State. Well, as you know, we are running to the end of the second tenure of Governor Willie Obiano. Therefore, Anambrarians are keen in having a smooth transition. And that's what we are all hoping that we will be able to achieve with the elections coming up tomorrow. A lot has gone into it. We have been trying to engage our young ones deliberately so as to make them understand the essence of this particular election. And thank God the response we are getting is quite positive, which of course led to the lifting of the sit at home yesterday. Before this interview, I had the opportunity of speaking with one of our religious leaders who was actively involved, Archbishop Emmanuel Chukwuma, in all of this. I do believe that by tomorrow, the tension will have dropped completely. The atmosphere will be conducive and we will have a free election. And I can assure you that we will produce somebody that the state will be happy with. We will produce somebody that will help develop the state. So that's our anticipation as at this moment.
Well, thank you for that. There has been concern, though, expressed that beyond the separatist agitation and the potential violence that might have come from that, now that that appears to be dissipating, that there is also concern about what the politicians themselves might do, which is almost customary or traditional. I mean, the disturbances that you usually get around elections in Nigeria. A peace accord, of course, signed by 18 governorship candidates yesterday. What's your assessment of that?
Well, Charles, if you wind back, you will recall that I was the one who actually initiated the National Peace Committee. The National Peace Committee is my baby. The National Peace Committee came after we had the world-acclaimed Abuja Peace Accord, which my office and the office of the NSA organized in 2015, January 14, 2015, which led to the smooth transition of one government to the other. So it is encouraging to see that the committee is still on, and it's also encouraging that all the candidates and the party chairmen were also willing to sign the memorandum of understanding to have a peaceful election and conduct themselves in a manner that is befitting of a state. Anambra is one of the probably #1 state in the country. So we want to show that we really understand what democracy is about, what democracy is all about. I mean, if you take it back to the time of the struggle for the modern Nigeria, it was championed by Dr. Nnamdi Kanu, who is an Anambrarian. So we are conscious of this, but let me say this. Whenever there is election in Anambra State, there is always the tension. But 2 days to the election, the tension disappears. We as politicians know that the people of this state do not deserve to be treated shabbily. And the people of the state have developed interest in who governs them. And that is what we want to produce tomorrow, that people will come out and elect the candidate of their choice, and their votes will count. I think that is what Anambrians are looking forward to, and that is what political leaders are inclined to achieving for tomorrow.
Well, I mean, I'm sure we can all, everybody is obviously keen to hope that your wish comes true. But of course, beyond violence, which potentially could be perpetuated by some of the politicians going by what they've done in the past, there are also reports of vote buying by politicians in Anambra State. Is that going on, do you know? I mean, as a senior politician in one of the biggest parties in Nigeria and someone who is himself from Anambra State, I mean, you would know, wouldn't you?
Yes, of course I will know if a thing like that is going on. But as at this moment, I have not received any complaint in that direction. We saw that in the last election, but I think this time around it will not happen. I don't believe it will happen, and those who intend to do it will be checkmated, because everybody is quite anxious and wanting to prove a point. We do not want the name of Anambra to be painted in the negative light. We have decided as leaders of the people, we must do things the right way, and I think that is in the mind of every responsible Anambrarian, be you a politician or not. That's what people are calling and asking us to make sure that things don't go wrong, and it's everywhere. So it's not only that talking to me, they're talking to other leaders as well, and we believe that we will do just that, so that everything will go smoothly tomorrow. Since we've been able to talk to the young ones, and they've been able to also understand, which is why I always insist on engaging. If you don't engage people, if you do not communicate with the people, then there will be a gap in communication. But when you communicate with the people and you get them to understand the reason why this election is important, the reason why people must come out to vote, then they will understand where you're coming from. So people must not be left in the dark. And that's all I've been saying all the while.
Right, okay. And beyond the very interesting analysis you've given there and the things that you're hopeful will emerge as a result of this election that would take the country forward, I mean, is it also, that election in Anambra State, a potential bellwether for the 2023 presidential election? Absolutely, Charles.
You know, Anambra is a trailblazer. They lead in many things. And we look forward that after tomorrow, it will paint a clear picture of where the country will be heading in 2023. We want to come out tomorrow, be very decisive, come out tomorrow and go and vote. And we want our votes to count. You know, and INEC, the security agencies have said to us without making any mistake that they are quite prepared for tomorrow's election. And I want to believe, quite honestly, that they are prepared for the election. And all of us are also geared for tomorrow's election, but to make sure that we have a very good, peaceful election, and the result will certainly prove what Anambrians require. And that's the main goal for tomorrow. And that will, like I said, clear the path for 2023 as we move on.
Yeah, but I mean, in what way, beyond the fact that, you'd like it to be a good sort of election, I mean, when we talk about a potential bellwether for 2023, which is obviously a crucial presidential ballot, in this country. In what way do you see Anambra State being that bellwether? Because obviously there are going to be other governorship elections coming up before 2023.
Yes, Charles, you know that elections in Anambra, they're always potentially deciding the fate of politics in the country. The elections that will come after Anambra, you have that of Ekiti, you have that of Ondo State. They are not as turbulent as elections in Anambra, and they are not really as decisive as elections in Anambra point to what the future of the country holds. So it is important that tomorrow, as politicians, we prove to the country and we prove to Democrats that we are prepared for 2023, and INEC, more importantly, that INEC is quite prepared to do the right thing, give us the votes, count them as we vote, so that the voters who voted, their votes will be counted appropriately. And that's what we want to see in 2023. We do not want to go into 2023 with a worried mind about how and where INEC is taking us. But the chairman has given his word. The chairman has been in Oka for the past 96 hours, and he's been doing some consultations, and I'm quite pleased about the efforts they've put in place.
Well, I mean, you've emphasized that point rather stridently. You sound a little bit worried there. We've got a minute to go.
I said what?
I said you've emphasized that point about INEC and the necessity of having a good conduct of the elections. You've said that quite stridently a number of times. I mean, it sounds like underneath all that you're a little bit worried, and we've got less than a minute.
No, I am saying that the chairman of INEC has given us assurances that it will be a free and fair elections, and they will do the needful. And I believe that from discussions and consultations, he will do just that. Anything short of that will be worrisome.
Okay, Senator Ben Obi, I want to thank you exceedingly for joining us there from the Anambra State capital, Awka, and Senator Obi was the former vice presidential running mate to Atiku Abubakar. You're watching the Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead as we continue our analysis of the Anambra State governorship ballot, which takes place this weekend. Stay with us.